There we go. Let's go ahead and keep this going now. Sorry about that. We'll get started in about a minute, you guys. I like to have the timer so I can hurry and paste this onto the Facebook. There. Copy link. Post. I got 45 seconds left to post it. Paste. Pull up. Alright, so we're here to talk about the new Skeletons Epic H.A.C.K.S figures. Now these look really cool. I saw it on Big Bad Toy Store today. I'm like, oh, because you know me, I've been looking for good Skeleton figures or Skeletor figures for a long time. I forgot to show my logo. Hey, welcome to Hebrews Innovations. Anyway, so let's go and talk about I made a dungeon a long time ago, as many of you guys know, and inside my dungeon, I wanted to put a skeleton. It wasn't actually mine to begin with, it was actually somebody else's. So I made this little 3D printed skeleton here that kind of glows in the dark. And I was pretty happy with my skeleton. I made it by using one of these skeletons here that is from the video game, I believe, Golden Axe, the action figures from it. And they were kind of a little bit on the spendy side to get these figures, but they're still pretty cool. And they originally came red, and then I spray painted them with this glow-in-the-dark spray paint to try to, I used it for the What Triclops Sees videos, because I wanted to have the part. You can see there how I used to basically scan those in, and then I used the head of Scareglow for the head. Not the best job, but the heads were just so small compared to He-Man's heads. Now I wanted to show you how that opens so you can see how cool the dungeon was, for those who don't remember. But let's go ahead and see it glow in the dark. So let's get those lights off. Sometimes it's so slow responding. There we go. Let me go and charge these up with my black light. Hey, Mike Fee, thanks for joining us. Lewis, thanks for being here. Hello there. Hello to you too. So let's charge these things up so you can see how it works. Jason and the Argonauts. There you go. I love it, Pop Actor. And you can kind of see how they're glowing there. Come on, glow. I should have got my big, huge light that I usually use. And that way you guys could see them glowing better. But, oh well. Stand. I can't stand. Yeah. Anyway, so there they are. And it's kind of hard to tell they're glowing in this blue light, but they actually are glowing, believe it or not. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to the cool figures that we're here for, the H.A.C.K.S figures. And usually H.A.C.K.S figures, if I'm not mistaken, are usually a lot smaller. But this time they're going to make them 1/12 scale, which is basically the same size that should fit with most of our He-Man figures. So that's pretty cool. I mean, a little bit shorter, but not much. So I'm kind of excited about that. Probably the same size as these figures here from the Golden Axe. All right. So back to our H.A.C.K.S. So the first one I talk about is this blue one here, known as the Grim Reaper. And it's kind of funny because they made him blue, and it's kind of very Skeletor-ish because he is blue. Now, of course, Skeletor's head's yellow, and Skeletor's not a skeleton creature. But it's funny, a lot of people who don't know the lore like we do of Masters of the Universe, a lot of times they think that Skeletor is a skeleton figure. In fact, we used to have this one, I believe, senator in our state, and people used to say that he looked like Skeletor because he was so skinny. But it's like people who know the toys know that Skeletor's huge and muscular, just a little smaller than He-Man in size. It just has a skull head, not a bony body. Now, of course, this is not Skeletor, so anybody who just tuned in, not Skeletor. This is the new H.A.C.K.S figure, and it's supposed to be the Grim Reaper, and it's kind of cool. I was just saying, he's blue. He's a Smurf. So, there we go. There is Reaper Smurf. Oh, yes. Ray Harryhausen, I used to love his stuff. Sinbad, and the Seven Seas, whatever it's called, and the Eye of the Tiger. I think it was actually the Eye of the Tiger. And then we also had, he's had so many cool stop motion stuff. Yeah, I love his stuff. It is great. He kind of inspired me as a kid to do stop motion. Now this is my favorite one. This is the Barbarian figure. And I think this matches best with our He-Man figures because it looks like somebody who was a little bit back in time in the He-Man era. And there he is. So I might get one of these to throw in my dungeon on the floor just so I have it. Now I'll probably take and spray him with glow-in-the-dark paint. And we'll see how that works. Hopefully the joints aren't too hard to remove to get the paint on there. But I think this is the one I'm going to use for inside my dungeon. Because I could see a guy wearing that kind of stuff being stuck in the dungeon and left there to rot. So this is the one I'm going to buy for myself. And you can look at, you know, he's got all the armor. He has the furry shorts. And of course he's got some crazy kind of boots, which don't match a lot of the He-Man boots right off exactly with the big buckle on top. But that's okay. I mean, you can still see something like that. Skeletor is a real corpse in a spook house that Mark Taylor saw when he was a kid. That is true, Pop Actor. Think how it stunk and smelled. I mean, that'd be kind of a scary sight to see. That is kind of creepy. But yes, that's where he got the idea. But the toys that we know and love, they have blue muscular bodies. And see, I always thought that Skeletor was flesh-colored Caucasian, and then with magic and eventually lack of oxygen, because now he's like a zombie, he turns blue, and that's why he has a yellow skull with green around the edges, because the green is where it's rotting away. That's what I always thought when I was looking at Skeletor's face. But anyway, let's see. Does their stuff fit Origins? I'm guessing being it's 1/12, I think it's a little taller than Origins and not stocky enough. But we'll see. Then they have a pirate one. Arr, you matey. All right. What is a pirate's favorite letter? What is a pirate's favorite letter? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to answer. I know it has like a 10-second delay. And while you're answering that, let's keep looking at this pirate. What is a pirate's favorite letter? Mike, you would think it'd be the R, but it's the C, laddie. It's the C. Anyway, I know, lame joke. The C. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. So, the pirate one's kind of cool. And then we have the Gladiator one. Now, the Gladiator one could fit with He-Man. Maybe not exactly, but it does fit with some of the lower kind of. You can see his cool leg pieces on there. And he has his helmet. Now, I'm hoping the helmet's removable, because that would really stink if it's just stuck like this with this big old gold kind of head. So I'm hoping either it has a secondary head or the helmet comes off to expose and show his skull head underneath there. If it doesn't, kind of a miss. But if it doesn't, that's okay too. I'm probably not going to get him myself, even though he does look kind of cool and does kind of fit. I believe the armor's kind of tight on him. So if you could imagine if he had a huge muscular body, this armor should fit loose on him like it does in the Barbarian one. So this armor is like it's made for the skeleton figure, not made for the human that was the skeleton before he turned into the skeleton. Does that make any sense, what I'm saying? All right, so there is the Gladiator. There's those cool boots he has. It's like he has lions on there too, so that's pretty cool. Which is kind of weird. So he's fed to the lion's den in the Gladiator games. I don't know if he would have lions on his knee, since that's what's probably going to eat him, but I don't know. Now, it's kind of interesting that it looks like the armor's thigh high, but then of course he bends his leg, then of course, so the knee is probably right where the lion is, I'm guessing. RC. Let's see, actually Skeletor's face was the only thing that burned off in acid He's always been blue as Skeletor. Now, that is true for the 2000X series. I was talking about before 2000X existed, when I was younger, and I'd look at him. He just, to me, looked like he was like somehow the skull was just rotting, and that's why it has green around the edges from the flesh rotting, and that his skin would turn blue from lack of oxygen like a zombie. Because back when we were kids, 2000X storyline and lore didn't exist. In fact, the first Skeletors we saw actually came from a secondary, some kind of other, what am I thinking? They came from a portal from another dimension. They were an interdimensional demon that came to Eternia, and there was a whole bunch of them, but only one Skeletor made it through. But eventually he's going to go back after he got the power swords and release his brother in, and there'd be a whole bunch of Skeletor-looking people coming through. So, yes, the mini-comic is completely different. It depends. So, and I always thought in my own head, especially when he had Search for Keldor comic come out, because they never showed us Keldor was actually blue. We knew he was King Randor's brother. So I always imagined he was Caucasian color, and that, like as he played with magic, his skin started to turn more blue as he got, more into the dark arts. And then eventually, when he completely died, or became a living zombie flesh Skeletor, that's when, and I used to imagine that it was probably some spell that went wrong, and the blast came up and just blasted his face off, and that's why he has a skull face. So that's what I used to imagine when I was a kid. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. There are all 4 of the epic hack skeletons. So they are on Big Bad Toy Store. They have pre-order right now for $30 a piece. So they are kind of spendy. So if you wanted to get the infinity amount of 7, that's going to be over $200. So, whew, that's pretty spendy. So I'm personally just going to buy the Barbarian one. That's all I'm after. Just the Barbarian one. I'm probably just going to get 1, maybe 2, probably 1. So let's zoom up so you can see all 4 of them. There you go. I guess it's the Grim Spector skeleton, so the Grim Reaper. Then we got the Pirate skeleton, the Gladiator, and the Barbarian. And they're all $29.99. Pop actor, that is so cool. Skeletor is also my first figure too. When I went to the store, I wanted to get He-Man. All they had was a blue He-Man, Skeletor, and a couple other figures. And I decided to get Skeletor, and that's all I had for the first few months to play with was my Skeletor figure. And he was a blue hulking creature. That's why it's hard for me to imagine Skeletor as an evil guy, because he was my first figure. And so a lot of times I look at him as someone who is misunderstood. Because He-Man, he hoards all the power. He is, just hanging on to that power for himself and not sharing. And Skeletor just wants a piece of it. Yes, the blue He-Man was called Faker. Faker. But, when I was a kid, I just saw a blue He-Man figure. I was like, what the heck is this? It's just a blue He-Man. And later on, I was kind of kicking myself, not just for buying that. I probably would have used the blue He-Man figure, Faker, as He-Man. But anyway, later on, I found out it was a robot. Yes, in fact, if you look at the Castle Grayskull artwork, Skeletor is in the mouth of the castle. So the way the castle was originally, it was any team could own it. So that's how you turn the flag over one side or the other side to basically show who owned the castle at that moment. So kind of cool. I think Triclops is get her made in fall. Hopefully it'd be cool. Nice. Do you think the shin guards and helmets are removable? I think the shin guards will be removable, I'm guessing. Let's take a look here. Get a closer look. I don't know. There's something on the back of the leg here. I'm hoping they come off. If not, you probably could take them off and sand them to what you want, but you have no leg in between here. But I'm thinking they might come off. I don't know about the helmet, though. I mean, there's not a lot of pictures to show us what the figures are. I clicked on every single one, and every single one just showed this picture here, that zoomed up picture you can see right there, and then a picture of all 4 of them standing together. So as you click each one, that's all you get. You get this close-up picture you see here on each one of these, the zoomed out picture I showed you, and then the picture of all four standing together. See, I made a fit at Kmart. My mom caved in and bought it. Nice. Yep, I'm trying to teach my grandkids that that's not the way to get what they want. Hopefully, we can get that lesson across. Yep. Yep, take a gamble on it. Anyone's feelings on the original Ram Man? The original Ram Man was a fun toy. Granted, he had kind of chubby arms and not a lot of articulation. But just to push that button on his feet and have him go ba-chink and knock over a bunch of guys, that was pretty fun. Now, when I was younger, I used to surmise that Ram Man, that he was probably not made for He-Man, that he was probably made from a different toy and brought in the He-Man. But I found out later on that he actually was made for He-Man. He was one of the figures they designed for the He-Man line specifically. That really surprised me. Alright, so put in the comments which ones you guys are planning on buying, if any. For me, the Barbarian one. The one that has the brown boots and the big old battle axe in his hand and the spiked or the horned helmet. That's the one that I'll be getting. That's the only one. Now, it kind of stinks as his bones are kind of yellowish, while the Gladiator ones are whiter. So if you wanted a whiter skeleton, you'd have to go with the Gladiator one. But who knows if the shin guards are heads removable, or not head, but the helmet's removable. So you may not actually get a full white skeleton if that's what you're going for. So, but it does look like the pirate one has the most removable parts. Because definitely that loincloth looks like it comes off. You can see his hips underneath there. So, interesting. I think Origins Ram Man is a really well-made figure. Yes, he is. I just wish he had a button to push instead of pushing him down, because you can't use him as well as a weapon. It's a little harder. Mike Fee says I'm getting the Barbarian and probably the Gladiator one. Alright, I love the Origins Ram Man. Yes, the Origins Ram Man is cool. Yep, I wonder what they're going to do for the Revelation Ram Man. That's what I kind of want to see, because he looked cool in the cartoon. Alright, Comment at the Pool, thanks for joining us. Toys of the Tom Gang Go By, thanks for joining us. Yes, the Masterverse Ram Man, that's going to be so cool. And then Mike Fee, thanks for being here. Channel, thanks for being here. Feelings, thanks for being here. Comedy at the Pool, already I mentioned you. Black Phoenix 77, thanks for being in here. Lewis, thanks for joining us. And I think I got everybody. Oh, Jeff, All Music Fan 88, thanks for being here. And of course, Hebrews Exercises is me. So I'm not going to thank myself for being here. And let me go ahead and play my outro. Thanks for joining me tonight, you guys. Oh, wait, not the outro yet. First, we got to watch this again. There we go.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe,